My queen, my queen. Oh, she. Oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel. So strong, even in struggle. Yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah. Is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying back to work, cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do. Of every family, she's the glue. Yeah, oh. Where would we be without you? Yeah, you brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too. Oh, she is sophisticated, strong, yeah, simply amazing, simply amazing. Humble. Not only that you are educated, you are eccentric, empowering. You're my. Treat her like no price could be put on how much she's worth. So valuable, she's the soul of the earth. All a part of the man's H-E-L-P, yeah, yes, sophisticated.
R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
Hello. This is R.C. Blakes, and welcome back. Welcome back to Let's Talk with R.C. Blakes. I have a very, very good one today, and hopefully you will invite others to come in and to join in on this conversation. Today, I want to deal with something that, I probably get a lot of throughout the year. I probably get a lot of email questions regarding this in some way or another. And that is, how does a queen-conscious woman show interest in a man appropriately? Since we know that, or since some of us know that it's inappropriate for a queen-conscious woman to pursue or to chase. Notice how I said that. It's inappropriate for a queen-conscious woman to pursue or to chase. The question arises, well, if it's out of bounds for me to pursue or to chase a man, how am I to signal that I'm interested without saying I'm interested? Now, I have to admit that this is a lot more liberal society and generation than the one I spent most of my youth in, right? And so for some of you, you say, well, I don't see the big deal in saying to a man, I'm interested in you. And there are probably certain scenarios where it's probably not a big issue, but I think every queen-conscious woman is always going to guard her virtue. In other words, she's not going to put herself in a position where any man can, stomp on her sense of value, her sense of worth, her self-perception, her social perception. She's just not going to put herself in that place. And so there are very few times where everything aligns to a point where a woman can just outright say to a man, I'm interested in you, and not sacrifice simultaneously her virtue. And so it behooves every queen-conscious woman to figure out, well, what is the approach? I want a man. I'm interested in a man. I want a husband. And if I'm interested in a man, how do I do it? In the church, we say, well, woman shouldn't do this, woman shouldn't do that. And we have a lot of what you shouldn't do. But in a lot of cases, we don't really provide any practical, real life solutions as it relates to how a woman is supposed to move, in the world, in relationships. How is she supposed to move in her interactions with men when she really is interested? Do you just suppress that and bring that home with you and never say anything, never make any moves, never do anything, and just kind of go through that same fruitless routine over and over again, only to see the man consumed by another woman who may have known how to signal? Men pursue, women signal that it's cool to pursue. Men pursue even the more. Quality men do not chase, because to chase means that something is running from you. A quality man is not going to run a woman down that's running from him, but a quality man will pursue. He will show and demonstrate interest on a respectful level, but a clear level. And then it's the woman's job from the feminine perspective to send signals that your pursuit is welcomed. And then he pursues even the more, always testing to see if she's approving or not. And so, and then ultimately the woman approves, ultimately she approves. Ideally, it progresses to a place where the man says, these are my intentions and I'm interested in X, Y, and Z. And then the woman can say yay or nay. But how do we get to that point? How do we get from the point of being in the room with someone that's interested in you and you're interested in them to the point where someone is saying to you, well, I think you're the one, I want to marry you, or, whatever it is. I want to kind of deal with that. Now, if you look in Proverbs 31 and 10, it, very, very familiar passage of scripture to us here on this platform. It says in Proverbs 31:10, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. There's a lot that, the text is saying without necessarily saying it on the surface, right? Because the text captures what I believe is the subtle but intentional availability of the virtuous woman. She's a virtuous woman. She has high self-respect. She has high self-esteem. She values herself. She's not going to allow anyone to disrespect her. But in as much as she's a virtuous woman, the text is capturing the subtle but yet intentional availability of this virtuous woman. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Anything that has a price, and don't get locked in on the idea of price as if we're prostituting the virtuous woman. We're not. A price is just symbolic of understanding your worth, understanding your worth, establishing your value, and having your own personal non-negotiations. That's what you do every time you go to a store. And the people say, well, it costs this. They know the worth of it. They've established a value. They're not going to let you walk in and mark on the tag what you choose to pay, like some would have us, to believe men should be able to do with women, rate you and value and mark you down based on X, Y, or Z. No, you have to know your worth. Your worth comes from God. Your value comes from your own sense of self-love and self-estimation and the way you show up in the world, and having some strict non-negotiables. So with all of that being said, let me get back. Anything that has a price is not only communicating requirements. A price is a what? Clear indication of requirements. But anything that has a price, knows its price, communicates its price, is not only communicating its requirements, it is also communicating its availability. The reason it's priced is because it's available. Now, what the price is designed to do is to weed out pretenders from contenders. This is why, Rolls Royce doesn't run commercials. I've never seen a Rolls Royce commercial. I've never seen a Rolls Royce commercial. I've never seen a Bentley commercial. It's because they understand that their requirements is a call to a certain clientele. Anything that has a price is communicating its requirements, but it's also communicating its availability. If it has a price, it's available. I'm available at a certain rate, at a certain level. And so when we look at the virtuous woman, her price being far above rubies, she has her requirements, but she's also available to the one that can meet those requirements. Now, the problem we have today is that we have so over-communicated virtue, spiritual virtue, sexual virtue, and all of these other things, And we've not really communicated with modern virtuous women the process of not only understanding your worth, but simultaneously the process of showing up in the world, communicating your requirements, but also subtly, but clearly communicating your availability or your interest in certain, what does I said that Rolls-Royce doesn't run commercials, not on television, but when you drive by the Rolls-Royce dealership, there's one in the window. Ain't making no noise, ain't saying nothing. It's just present. Glory to God. You see, a queen conscious woman, she doesn't have to make noise. She doesn't have to chase. She doesn't have to pursue. She doesn't have to shoot her shot. All she has to do is just be present in the window. And the people who everybody will pass and admire, but the people who can afford the price will respond to the presence in the window. What we're endeavoring to do today is to take the queen conscious woman to a place practically where you're not running commercials on social media. You ain't got no television commercials, no radio commercials. Ain't nobody with no sign out there saying, oh, pick me, buy me, so forth and so on. But you're just showing up in the window. You're in the right place at the right time, giving off enough energy to make everybody know I'm available. And the right ones will pursue, and then you'll have the opportunity to say yay or nay. But how do you show up like that? Because there are many ways that a modest, queen conscious woman can communicate availability and interest in a man without being inappropriately forward. I'm going to tell you now, I know this again is a different time, different generation, but when I was a young man, there was a particular woman that I dealt with who was so forward, it scared me. It literally scared me. Women that were too forward, too masculine. I didn't have the language for it back then. Women who were more masculine than me in terms of the mating process, just the pursuit and the chase and the, I see what I want, I'm going to take what oh my God. There was this woman, particular woman, I'll never forget it, scared the life out of me. And she never heard from me again. I think I saw her in passing, but that was the end of that, because a woman that knows her worth and a man that's worth your time is looking for a woman that knows her worth. There are subtle ways that this modest queen conscious woman communicates, I'm available. I'm not making any noise, but I'm in the window. I'm just being who I am. All a Rolls-Royce has to do is just be. Some will come by and say, oh, I like that car out there. What it cost? Oh, $500,000. Oh, no thank you. But then there are others that pass by and say, I love that Rolls-Royce. Get me the papers. They don't even ask for the price because they already know they can afford it. They already know what they're looking at. But all the Rolls has to do is what? Show up in the window. Glory to God. Now let's get into this. I think I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and then I'm out, right? 5 points and your boy is out of here. I'm out of here. Number one, how do you show up as a queen conscious woman in a scenario where there's a man that's interested in you or interesting to you, and you want to communicate interest and availability? Make eye contact. Make eye contact and simultaneously smile. Now, let me say this before I move further into my conversation for today. It's very important because some of you are triggered right now. You're triggered presently by a man saying to you, you need to show up in the world with a smile as a woman, you know, and you almost equate that to, you know, black folks doing, you know, the tap dancing back in Jim Crow. You know, I ain't tap dancing for no man. A woman smiling is not tap dancing for a man. A woman smiling is the basic parts of the best representation of herself. So before we can even engage in this conversation, if you have in your mind, why do I have to smile? It means, in my opinion, I'm no mental health professional. It means that there's some trauma, there's some pain, there's some brokenness in you that needs to be addressed. If you feel like it's degrading for you to show up in the world and smile as the greatest representation of God's creation, there's nothing that surpasses a woman. In everything that God made, a man is not the prize. A woman is the prize. And I think the greatest facial gesture of feminine is a smile. Now, masculine doesn't always smile because masculine has to be on guard and ready to fight, ready to provide, ready to defend. But healthy feminine shows up, and what does healthy feminine do? A healthy feminine woman shifts the atmosphere. She takes a stressful, negative atmosphere and she makes it light and joyful. And so if you struggle with me barely getting point one out about making eye contact and smiling, I don't want you to become defensive. I want you to become introspective. And I want you to ask yourself, why is it that I struggle with the idea of somebody just saying to me, suggesting to me? Because at the end of the day, you do what you want, right? Why am I kicking against somebody suggesting to me that to get, positive relational outcomes and feedback, maybe I need to smile? You think about that. But now let's get back to the point. Number one, make eye contact and smile. Because eye contact and a smile many times, quite honestly, is a woman's way of fishing for interest. You can be in a room and maybe you see, women always want to know, well, if I see a man I like, how can I make the first move? It ain't hard. And it's way within bounds. You in a room, y'all, it's a networking kind of mixer kind of thing. And you see somebody across the room that maybe is appealing to you. And you just look. That's all you got to do is look and look long enough and look back and then look off like you didn't see him looking back. And then, he's trying to figure out, I wonder why she's looking at me. And so now if he's interested, when you look back, he's going to be looking again. He may be looking off and on, but real frequently, he'll be looking back to see if you're looking again. Once you look back and he's looking again, he's really looking in your direction now. All you got to do is smile, nod your head, and then resume your conversation. And then watch this. He may very well, from that signal, make his way across the room to say, hello, my name is, what's yours? What brings you to this event? If he's a really confident guy. A lot of guys are not really confident, so when let's just bring it to the point. You're in conversation with a man. You're in conversation with a man that is demonstrating interest. Make eye contact and smile. My brother always laughs at me because my filming style is not to just, look in the camera like that, but I look off, because I'm comfortable doing it like that. But there are points when you're in a conversation with a person, you want to make eye contact and you want to smile. Many times women are interested in the man that's talking to them, and you're making eye contact, but you have that corporate America kind of facial, you know, expression, where it's this, it's the blank look and the no smile and just the nodding of the head. And so what happens is the reason you adopted that facial expression is because you don't want the misogynistic males in corporate America to be able to read you. You don't want them to know if you're feeling, if you're hurting, if you're happy. So you've developed, as a woman, you've developed this blank stare with no smile, and you got the stern handshake. What you don't transfer that out of the boardroom into the dating space. When you're in the dating space, you're not trying to show up as a professional or a CEO or an executive. You're trying to show up as a woman, waiting to be found by the right man, pursued by the right man. So if there's a guy you have interest in and you're having this conversation, or he seems interesting, let's put it that way. Say you have interest in, maybe a little premature. He's interesting. You have interest in finding out if you're interested. When you're talking to the man, make sure to look him in the eye and smile. Your smile is the window for the Rolls Royce. We put the Rolls Royce in the window so the world can know, okay, this is a Rolls Royce dealership. Your smile is the window that says, okay, I'm pricey, but I'm available. Are you mine? Come on. Now, this will let him know that you're interested in what he's saying and that you're happy to be talking to him. Just eye contact. Now, again, don't look away from his eyes as much as I look away from the camera lens. I do that quite a lot. But you want to look him in the eyes. You want to give out positive head gestures. If there's something that you may not understand, don't necessarily do that and scowl. Just listen, continue to listen, and continue to, smile, not grin, but smile, and periodically look off so it doesn't get weird. You don't want to be, you don't want to do it like that. I'm just trying to show you how to do this practically, because very seldom do we discuss this. We just say a woman shouldn't do X, Y, Z, but at the same time, you have a desire for a relationship and you have a desire for a certain kind of man. How do you signal? How do you say to this guy, okay, proceed. I'm good with you coming. Proceed. Keep moving forward. You're doing good. I approve, I approve, I approve. Well, you start off by making eye contact and what? Smiling. Smiling lets him know you're interested in what he's saying and that you're happy to be in his presence. And he should stay right here. Don't move 1 inch, sir. Sit right here because I'm interested and I'm happy that you're here. Listen to what the Bible says in Proverbs 15:30. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart. Good news refreshes the bones. You can look a person in the eye, especially a man. A man can look a positive feminine woman in the eyes, and it just energizes him. My wife does that for me, man. Oh my goodness. There's a certain look my wife has in her eyes that just gives me life. That's why I try my best. I intentionally try to make my wife laugh because there's a light in her eyes that just gives me life. When the world around me seems so dark and difficult, it's the light of her eyes that causes my heart to rejoice. When you learn how to look a man in the eye with a feminine spirit, and you learn how to couple that with a sincere smile, you know how rare that is today to find a woman that will look a man in the eye. Most women, because of trauma, are not healthy enough to look a man in the eye yet. And that's why I suggest to a lot of women that you heal first, because you don't want to show up in the world leading with your trauma, because when you lead with your trauma, you attract sharks. You want to heal first. So when you show up in the world, you can look any man in the eye and you can smile. You know what I'm saying? You can smile at the men that deserve it. Because making eye contact and smiling can convey warmth and positivity. It definitely conveys femininity, which can be a source of joy, for a man that's searching for a wife. Because what is a king conscious, husband-minded man searching for primarily in a woman? He's searching for a woman that is his peace and a woman that he can bring peace to. Now, that means she has to be at peace within herself. He has to be at peace within himself, and they bring it together, and it's just an explosion of peace. And one thing that lets a man know that he's dealing with a woman who's at peace within herself is when she can look him in the eye and when she can have a pleasant smile. Now, Renee Wade, founder of The Feminine Woman, says this: eye contact is a powerful tool for connection. When we look someone in the eyes, we show them that we are fully present and engaged in the conversation. Combine this with a genuine smile, and you have a winning combination. All you need is a look. Practice looking and smiling. Looking and smiling. Now, here's the application. When you're talking to the man, make sure to put away any distractions like your phone or other devices. Like if you meet a man today and he moves across the room, he says, "Hello, my name is," and you say, "My name is," and you like the way he look, you like his energy, you finding out a few things about him, you like that. Well, a great way to signal to this man, "I'm really into you," is to take your phone intentionally and put it in your purse. Let him see you take your phone, put it in your purse, and then resume your position of looking and smiling. Letter B, what's the application? Pay attention to the conversation and actively listen to what he's saying. Actively listen. At the proper points, letting him know that you are really paying attention, asking questions, interjecting, shifting your emotion when it moves to something a little more serious, shifting out of the smile into the, because I'm really what? Paying attention. Now, if you're not really interested, don't act. But if you really are, do this intentionally. Pay attention to the conversation, actively listen to what he's saying. Letter C, when you make eye contact, hold it for a few seconds. We talked about that. Then look away briefly before returning your gaze to his eyes. Letter D, smile genuinely and warmly and try to convey a sense of openness and friendliness. A lot of men are just looking for friendly women. And I know, brothers all over the social media and everywhere else are talking about how angry and mean women are, and they're not lying. A lot of women today are angry and mean. The issue I have with men is that we don't own the reason why in a lot of cases. We produce that. We produce that through the trauma, through the disappointment, through the lies, through not being there to father them, to breaking their hearts as their lovers, disappointing them as husbands. And so we created the calloused-hearted woman. And so that's why I say, do your personal work to heal from all of that so that you can enter into the world understanding that, there are some good men, but you want to be in a place emotionally and mentally where you're able to engage in a way that you can convey interest and availability. Now, number 2, show interest in his hobbies or passions. You're engaging a man and maybe it's moved. It could possibly still be the first conversation. So you've asked him, what are some of the things you like to do? And you from there, you just begin to show interest in his hobbies. Because one thing you will learn about a man that's ready to be a husband and a man whose life is clean enough to actually have an exclusive relationship, we like to talk, especially to women that we're really interested in. We have nothing to hide. So, guys that are running a lot of game don't really want to talk, may run their mouths a lot, but they ain't really saying nothing. And they're certainly not answering questions. So when you get a man that wants to talk and he's excited about talking to you, show interest in the things that he's interested in, because a man is interested in the woman that's interested in him. You see, if the man you're interested in has a hobby or a passion that you find interesting, ask him about it. Go deeper into it. Think about it. My wife is probably a bigger Saints fan, New Orleans Saints fan than I am. Only one in the family that's probably a bigger Saints fan than her would probably be my brother and my son. Those will probably be the only two that are bigger Saints fans. Well, Lisa was born in Jamaica, right? She was raised in Canada. She didn't get to the United States until she was a young adult in her 20s. Why is she such a huge Saints fan? You know why? She ain't even know nothing about no football. Lisa, we watching football. Lisa talking about 3 points and I ain't talking about no field goal. She talking about charging. No, that's basketball. You fouled out left field. That's baseball, sweetheart. She had all the rules mixed up, but she knew I was a big Saints fan. She knew I loved Saints football. Now she's a huge Saints fan because she showed interest in the things that interested me, or yeah, I guess that's the right way to say it. But this will show him that you're interested in him as a person and that you want to learn more about what he likes. You got to show interest in the things in the things that he's interested in. I went first time I had this. I'm big on avocados now. By the way, I'm big on avocados. I try to eat an avocado a day, and I was in Toronto last year, and I had this avocado toast. My sister-in-law talked me into it, and I'm like, okay, she's a health nut, so I said, okay, let me try it, and I loved it. And so you just got me hooked on the avocado thing, And so lo and behold, this week, I'd been eating avocados, just cutting it and slicing it up and eating it like that. But I've been, just raving about avocado toast. I want some avocado toast. Well, lo and behold, in fact, it was yesterday, Lisa fixed me some breakfast. And what I got avocado toast with the little small tomatoes cut up on the top and mixed up with the seed. And I'm like, wow, because she's always interested in what I'm interested in. And you see, whatever it takes to start a relationship, this is just a side note. So what it takes to keep it. If you want a man is going to be more interested in the woman that's interested in him. And you show that by showing interest in whatever, he has going on. Philippians 2:4 says, let each of you look not only on his own interest, but also to the interest of others. That's just a wise principle to apply to life, right? Consider other people more so than yourself. That's how you make friends. That's how you, if you're in leadership on your job, if you show interest in the people that are following you, they're going to take a greater concern, a greater interest in the things that concern you. But if you just around there barking orders, they're going to undermine you. They're not going to give you their best. They're going to do just the bare minimum to keep their job. But if you show interest in the things that interest people, those people become interested in the things that interest you. How much more is this applicable when it comes down to a woman signaling to a man, I'm interested and I'm available? You show him that you're interested by being interested. And by showing interest in a man's hobbies or passions, you're demonstrating a willingness to put his interest above your own. I mean, you could go on and talk about everything you want to do, but it's like he mentions, okay, I like X, Y, Z, and then you ask one question about it, and he answers, and then you come back, you ask him another question about it, and he answers. Then you come back, you ask a third question about it, and he answers. What is that saying to him? That is saying to him, even if it's subconsciously, it's saying to him, here's a woman that has wife, has maternal, has nurturing potential. You can't really be a great wife, a great mother, a great nurturer if you're not interested in the things that your family. When you look at that Proverbs 31 woman, the Bible says she looked well to the needs of her family. How did she do that? She knew what they needed. She knew what they wanted. And she met all of those needs, so much so her husband praised her and her children just, magnified her. Now, here, Helena, I guess this is Elena Hart, who's a relationship coach and author, says, one of the most attractive things a woman can do is take an interest in a man's passions. When you ask him about his hobbies or interests, you show him that you see him as a whole person and that you're curious about what makes him tick. Why is my wife always so active on my social media stuff? It's not like she doesn't have anything to do. My wife has a whole publishing company that she has to run that primarily does my books. Primarily does. She's done a few others, but, I keep her pretty busy. She got businesses she got to run. She got to take care of all of the financial stuff. She got children, grown children that's constantly calling for recipes and life issues and all of that. She got a whole husband, a whole church to take care of. Why is she on the social media? Why is she on the social media responding and talking to people? Because she knows I love this. She knows I love the people that show up here. And she's automatically interested in whatever I'm interested in. Any woman that displays interest in what a man is interested in will always be interesting to that man. Here's the application. If you know what his hobbies or passions are, do some research and learn more about them so you can have an informed conversation. This is next conversation, second, third conversation. By the way, I was checking out, I know you said you like XYZ, and I did some research and I learned this about it. Wow, he's like, wow, this girl is really interested in me, Letter B, ask open-ended questions that encourage him to share more about his interests, such as, what do you like about that particular thing? Or what inspired you to pursue the thing that you're doing? Just a side note before I finish the application part of this. A friend of mine who's a very prominent leader internationally, prominent author, speaker, pastor, marriage ended, I guess, 12, 13 years ago, something like that. And recently I was just in the airport and I ran into him and we just kind of had conversation. And he was sharing with me why his marriage ended. And his marriage ended because the woman he married, at least this is his side of the story. There's always two sides to every story, right? Correct. But his point was it ended because she didn't like what he did for a living, but yet she knew who he was when she married him. And it was her lack of interest in what he did that caused their chemistry to erode. At least that's his side of the story, right? But it fits into what we're talking about right now. When you show a man that you're interested in what he does, he becomes more interested in you. Now, letter C, application. We said if you know what his hobbies are, do some research to learn more, his passions, learn more about it. Letter B, ask open-ended questions that makes him talk more about it. Letter C, share your own experiences or interests that are related to what he's talking about, but don't dominate the conversation. See, there's a point where if he's a healthy man, he's going to ask you some things about what you're interested in. And then you get a chance to just kind of unpack your stuff. But while the ball is in your court, make certain that you exhaust the aspect of showing interest in this man and what he's interested in. Letter D of the application. If you don't know anything about his hobbies or passions, ask him to tell you more about them so you can learn. Lisa used to ask me questions about the rules concerning football. All of that. Number 3, compliment him. Compliment him. Everyone likes to receive compliments, especially men. Especially men. Our egos are just set on a different frequency than women's. And, you know, a lot of men are managed by unscrupulous women who know how to compliment for manipulation. But I'm suggesting to you, compliment sincerely. If you notice something that you admire about the man, let him know. You know, be sincere and specific in your compliment, and avoid anything that could be seen as too forward. Yeah. Okay, we'll unpack that a little more. Listen to what he says in Ephesians 4:29. Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up. Build him up, in other words, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. Offering a sincere compliment can be a way to build up and encourage the man, which can reflect God's grace and God's love from the feminine heart of a woman that's empowered to nurture. Because what a man needs from his woman when that relationship is exclusive is he needs her to be his cheerleader. We need that as men. I ain't got time to be around here. Well, you ain't got time for no man. You need to go book your session with the therapist. You ain't got time for no man. If you really want a relationship with a good man that's gonna do his job and gonna really just excel in life, he gonna have a woman that builds him up. That don't mean you just, tap dancing every day and just constantly, no. But you got to know how to say the things that make your man feel like, I'm king of the mound, I'm king of the hill. It also serves as a basic need, or it serves a basic need in a man, watch this, to impress the woman he loves. When you're free to give a man compliments, you are meeting a basic need in a man. A man has a need to impress the woman he loves. I'm 58 years old at the time of this filming. Lisa and I have been married 27, going on 28 years. We've been together 30 some years, with a little break in between. And still today, I do things to impress Lisa. Now, of course, my motivations are greater than just impressing Lisa. I'm a man of purpose. I have responsibilities. I'm trying to please God and all of those things. But if you come to the surface of me, I want to impress my wife. I want my wife to look at me and say, wow, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Listen to what Cherry Norris says. She's also a dating and relationship coach. She says, compliments are a great way to make someone feel good about themselves and to build a connection with them. When you offer a sincere compliment, you show the man that you see him in a positive light and you're proud of his accomplishments. Wow, you did that? Really? Wow, what a great job. Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Here's the application. Be specific under the compliment part. Be specific and genuine in your compliment. For example, instead of saying, you're so handsome, say something like, I really love your sense of style. See, you're handsome. That's too forward. That's too forward. He's going to probably get embarrassed by that. He's going to try to figure out, okay, what am I working with here? But I really love your sense of style. Gives him a sense of approval. She approves of your boy. And he can read between the lines. Oh, she think I'm handsome. If you don't think a man handsome, you don't care nothing about his sense of style. Number one, you ain't gonna be talking to him long enough to even get to the point to talk about his sense of style. And a lot of folks say, well, R.C. Blake, he trying to tell us go out here and get men that are ugly. I ain't never told you that. I don't think you should be with somebody that you think is ugly. I've just said to you, just a side note, you need to reconsider your criteria. It cannot all be looks. Everybody got this scale in your mind. You can't expect a man to be a 10 or 9 or 8 in terms of the looks department. And, you gotta be able to see a man that's a 6 or a 7 and give him a shot, especially if he has a 10 heart or a 20 ambition and all of these kinds of things. It's better to have a man that's a 6 because you can dress him up and bring him to the barber and bump him up to a 7 or 8, that's going to have a heart to be faithful, going to be on his grind, take care of his business, than to have a man that's a 10, a pretty boy, ain't got no work ethic, ain't got no brains. Back to my point. Where did I leave off? I said, be specific and genuine in your compliments. For example, really love your sense of style. Letter B, try to focus on something that he has control over, like his personality traits or achievements, rather than something he was born with. We're talking about complimenting him. Letter C, be mindful of the context and the setting. For example, if you're in a professional setting, avoid comments that could be interpreted as inappropriate or unprofessional. Yeah. Now, number 4, how does a queen conscious woman show interest in a man appropriately without misrepresenting herself? Number 4, ask him questions about himself. Show that you're interested in getting to know him by asking him questions about his life, his interest, his opinions. This will help to build a connection between the two of you. James 1:19 puts it this way: know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, or slow to anger. By asking questions and listening attentively to a man's responses, you're embodying the qualities of being quick to hear, interested, slow to speak, interested, and which can facilitate deeper connection and bonding. It also demonstrates intelligence. When a woman is asking a healthy man, a man with the right intentions, questions, he views that woman asking him questions as intelligent and as being interested. The worst thing you can do is to be with a high-value, king-conscious man and have no questions about him whatsoever. He's going to end that conversation really, really quickly. Shelley Bullard, another dating coach, says asking questions is a powerful way to show someone that you're interested in them. When you ask a man about himself, you're demonstrating that you're curious about who he is as a person and what he has to offer, beyond the monetary or the superficial. You're diving into the deeper chambers of the man's soul. Here's the application. Show a genuine interest in getting to know him as a person. Letter B, ask open-ended questions that encourage him to share more about himself, right? Letter C, be an active listener, respond thoughtfully to what he's saying. And then letter D, avoid asking overly personal or intrusive questions. You're not with a man on the first date and there you go, how many babies you got? See, that right there, you're going to lose a good man because you're assuming that I have babies. And you're assuming that I have multiple babies. And that assumption comes from being a woman that has previously fished in a pond of baby makers who are not baby. Okay, you get the point. Avoid asking overly. Personal or intrusive questions till the time is appropriate. Sometimes you get there on the first conversation. Sometimes it's so good the conversation goes on for hours, and maybe it comes up where it's appropriate to say, well, do you have any kids? What's your relational history? Well, I was married, or I had a serious relationship, but it didn't work out. Well, do you have any kids? But try to avoid overly personal stuff. And then number 5, be respectful of his boundaries. When you as a woman are signaling a man, you got to respect his boundaries. If he doesn't want to go there, don't go there. And pay attention. It's important to be respectful of the man's boundaries and to avoid doing or saying anything that could make him uncomfortable prematurely. Because if he seems uninterested or uncomfortable, you should not push the issue. Because you're not out here begging nobody, you know what I mean? And if it gets to the point where it looks like he feels uneasy and it looks awkward, respect the boundaries. He moves to 10, you hang back at 8. He moves back to 9, you move back to 7. Respect the boundaries. 1 Corinthians 10:24 says, let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor. Respecting about what's good for you, respecting a man's boundaries, even if they may differ from your own desires, is a way to prioritize his well-being and honor his will, as well as protect your own heart. So when I said to Lisa, I don't think I want to get married after us dating for years, she says, okay. She respected the boundaries and moved on with her life. You got to learn that even in the beginnings. You got to feel and see where he's going with this. And don't cross a boundary that bruh man has not invited you over into. Respecting his boundaries indicates the feminine position of following his lead and retaining your role of approving or not. See? Now, Matt Boggs says this: respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. When you respect someone's boundaries, you show them that you value their autonomy and that you're willing to honor their needs and desires. And just like you respect his boundaries, now you set a precedent for him to respect yours. If he crosses the line, you can remind him, I respected your boundaries. I need you to respect mine. And, so now let's get some application and then I'm done. Pay attention to nonverbal cues like body language and tone of voice. You can watch a man's body language. You can listen to his tone. You can listen to the content of his conversation. And you can tell if you're moving into a realm that he's not comfortable with. Shift the subject matter altogether. And then letter B, if he seems uncomfortable, shift graciously, without him even realizing that you detected that he was uneasy or that he wasn't comfortable with that. And so I hope that these practical steps help you as a queen conscious woman to navigate, dating conversations, starting up starting up connections with worthy people in a way that never compromises your virtue. Father, I thank you for the wisdom that you've given us in your word. Now help us to apply it to our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, go to my website, rcblakes.com. Sign up for my mailing list. Check out all of the online programs. Go to Amazon. Pick up all of my books, especially my latest book, Me, My Mind, Biblical Perspectives on Narcissistic Abuse and how to overcome. Thanks to all of you that have sown into our lives. Also want to thank, those of you that need counseling, go to the description and there's a link for BetterHelp Counseling. If it's something that can work for you, you utilize that link, it'll afford you 10% off of the cost of counseling. And because I recommended BetterHelp to you, they will make a deposit into RSC Blake's Ministries. Now, I think I'm done. I love you. You're on top. You're going higher. God got more in store for you. I didn't mean to talk this long. Don't you dare leave here without liking this video. And until then, I will see you at the top. Bless you.
We here at R.C. Blake's Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. R.C. and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by R.C. Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by R.C. You may find all books written by R.C. and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at R.C. Blake's Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.